This is all the mods 10 to the sky, with over 300 mods and over 1000 quests, and for some reason I decided to 100% the mod pack. The beginning of everything in Minecraft starts with chopping down a tree. This mod pack has Ultimate, allowing me to break multiple blocks at the same time, and we didn't get a sapling out of that, so we'll head over to the emergency saplings in the quest book for a sapling. Now we will expand the base so I don't lose any other sapling. To speed up sapling growth, we will spam crouch. We then need to craft an oak barrel which will allow us to get dirt. I then started punching the ground like a madman until I obtained some stone pebbles, allowing me to obtain a crucial block for the entire series. By placing 4 stone pebbles in a crafting table, I can craft cobblestone. I can now crush this cobblestone with a hammer which will give us gravel. This gravel can be crushed to give us sand, and sand to dust. Now we need a crook for some silkworms. Silkworm can be obtained by breaking leaves using crook. After many tries, I actually got one. Now we place the silkworm on a leaf and wait for it to turn white. After that, we use the crook to get string. We use that string to craft some string mesh. You can craft the sickest stick to help you place multiple blocks at a time. And yes, it's called the sickest stick. Some flint is the next thing we need. Now we can craft a flint mesh. Put that in a sieve. By placing multiple sieves together, we can sieve more items at a time. After sieving for a while, we obtain iron and copper. I use flint shears to get leaves. Using those leaves in a crucible gives us water. At this stage we made pretty good progress in chapter 1. To make dirt, we put some saplings inside of a barrel. We take the dirt and sieve it to get some seeds. Mycelium seeds are what we're looking for. Now we use the iron we got from a quest book and smelt it to get a bucket. This will allow us to move the water from the crucible to the barrel. And then get clay. I don't know how they expected us to get a bucket without doing this. Now we're gonna need some bone meal, so we're gonna sieve a bit of dust. We use the bone meal and clay to make pulverized clay. Using the pulverized clay, we can make a bucket. Just for the quest's sake, smelting it will make it into a proper bucket. I decided to expand the base because it was getting a bit too small. I made an infinite water source so I don't have to do the whole method again. Oops, it's porcelain clay, not pulverized clay. Anyways, we then craft a porcelain crucible to make lava. Now we place the crucible on top of a fire source like a torch, and then we can get some lava by putting in some cobblestone. While we wait, why don't we set up a cobblestone generator setup? To make hammering easier, you can make a compact version of all the items. After a long while, the lava was finally done, but I'm gonna need another bucket of lava, so we're gonna have to wait again. With the bucket of lava that I obtained, I'm gonna make a stone block generator. This will allow us to mine cobblestone without even touching it. We will also need to get an oak drawer, which will automatically collect the stone for us. Let's do a side quest while we wait for the lava. If we put a barrel on top of mycelium block, we can actually get witch's water. We can then put sand inside of the witch's water to get soul sand. Well, it seems the lava is finished. Now we can actually get the cobblestone generator working. With the stone, we can make a compressed stone hammer, which will allow us to actually hammer the compressed items. Now let's grind for some iron and copper. By making a copper ore hammer, I'm able to duplicate my ore drops. Using the iron I just grinded for, I can make a squeezer, which will also allow me to duplicate my drops. By placing an ore inside of it and using my fat ass to flatten it, I can get multiple drops. After maximizing my ore output, I can now make more meshes, which will allow me to get even more things. The first upgrade is in fact iron, then it's gold, diamond, and then netherite. Netherite has a very long process, so I don't think I'll be able to do it in this episode. At this point, I've done pretty much most of chapter 1 quests, and we just need to do a few more. While I was grinding, I did upgrade my furnace to make things go faster. For some odd reason, I decided to delve deep into mystical agriculture, which, I'll be real, was the worst mistake of my life. To start mystical agriculture, you need prosperity shards, which you can get by sieving soul sand. To get to chapter 2 of the quest book, I had to complete the last quest on chapter 1. I did this so I can claim some rewards in chapter 2, which will allow me to progress in mystical agriculture. To get ancient debris, we need to crush some blackstone. We can then sieve this blackstone to get the netherite. While I was sieving, I got all the modium nuggets. These are very important, but not right now. After a while, I did get the ancient debris and used an iron ore hammer to double the drop. Even though I have obtained netherite, I won't be able to use it until later on. By placing lava inside of a barrel and then using glowstone, I'm able to get an end stone. We can then crush and sieve this end stone to get stuff. Now let's make an altar for mystical agriculture. We can then place this altar down so we can craft seeds. I then made a farming area so we can farm seeds. I made myself full iron armor because we're about to go to war with mobs. But before that, let's do a bit of peaceful farming. I don't know why I'm using a watering can where I could just sneak and just accelerate growth like crazy. I ended up making a platform just so mobs could spawn. From a reward from a quest, I ended up getting some spawn eggs. I used those to farm some mobs. The reason I'm doing this is because I need them to drop their loot so I can use that to get netherite mesh. Like I said, a very long process. After getting some of these gems, I can put an anvil on top of them to crush it. This will then give us some gem dust. We will then need a smithing table. I made myself a fluid drawer and put a dripping upgrade to create lava. I made myself a gate pearl so I can fight some mobs. As a reward, I got a bunch of mobs, which I did kill. I did take some milk from the cow so I can make some slime. I used the lava and water to make obsidian. I then made myself another portal to go to the nether. The nether was also empty, so I had to breach all the way to the nether fortress. I then crafted myself a scavenging tablet. This will allow me to put my mob drops and then get something in return. A luminous crystal shard is what we're looking for, but it's pretty hard to get right now. After beating so many mobs, I finally was able to activate heaven mode. This is activated by clicking Ctrl T, which will allow us to get to this panel right here. What this basically does is it makes the mob's difficulty higher, which will allow us to get more drops, like rarer drops. For the next episode, I pre-planned and made myself some fire clay. We can smelt the fire clay to make fire bricks, which will make us black fire bricks. We will need this in the next episode, so we're gonna keep them safe and sound. I then went back to mystical agriculture and started farming some inferium essence. I also expanded the farm while I was at it. I then crafted myself some prudentium essence with the inferium essence. We're gonna need about 64 stacks of inferium essence to make ourselves a master crystal, which will allow us to have infinite upgrades on our inferium essence. I then made myself some tertium essence, and the recipe is pretty much the same for most essences. And then this happened. After fixing my base, I went back to farming so I could get some supremium essence. After a lot of grinding, I was able to make 2 supremium essence, but we're gonna need way more supremium essence. I then ended up making a fire seed and then even a nether seed. After a very long grinding session, I was finally able to get some insanium essence. I then made myself a harvesting pylon, which will make my job way easier with harvesting. After giving it a hoe, it will automatically harvest everything for us. After hours of grinding, I was finally able to make a premium site for the pylon. But I realized it doesn't even work on the pylon unless it's a hoe. And now we have a scythe that won't work on the pylon. But what I did discover is that it has 25 attack damage. This is basically the best sword I could ever have. During my time making the scythe, I realized I had a couple of problems. The first problem being that my storage was cluttered. It was not even organized. The second problem was the amount of resources that I had to grind for. The amount of hours I spent on flipping sieving. We're gonna have to fix that in the next episode, guys. So come back